All set.
Okay, my name is Scott Memhard. I'm the Ward 1 City Councilor and Chair of our City of Gloucester Budget and Finance Committee. And with me is Tony Gross, Councilor at Large. We expect to be joined shortly by Councilor Worthley, Councilor at Large. And as well, we have Kenny Costa, City Auditor, Don Dunn, City CFO, and Sherry White, our Clerk of Committees. Is there anybody else present? I see Sal DeStefano. Hi, Sal. Anybody else?
We have Carol Mondello, I believe, who will be speaking about a grant,
Great, excellent,
With
Carol.
Sal.
and Melissa Gillis from the mayor's office.
Melissa, great, hi, Melissa. Don,
Chair, if I can recommend that we take Sal first, so he's kind of at the end of the agenda, but
Yeah.
if we take him first, he doesn't have to sit around for the rest of it.
that makes good sense to me as well. Councilor Gross, you have a problem now?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
It's the $2,500 grant.
So this would be item number 5 on our agenda, which is a memorandum from the Economic Development Director requesting acceptance of Gloucester's Essex National Heritage Commission grant for 23-24 season in the amount of $2,500. Sal, the floor is yours, and Carol's.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council. Thank you, John. Yes, we're delighted once again to receive this grant that does not require a match, and it's to support our welcoming center. And I'm really excited to have Carol Mondello, our director, with us, who's going to give a brief update. But this grant is hopefully something that will be accepted by council as it provides important funding for supplies and is really something that's needed for the Welcoming Center. We have some exciting stats to share, but as Councilor Memhard mentioned, the Essex National Heritage Commission is the grantor, and we're appreciative to them. And if it's okay with everyone, I'll hand it over to Carol for a brief update.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Carol.
No, don't have the video on today. That's okay. So as Sal said, yes, this is the $2,500. We get this every year, and we're very grateful for it. We've been able to do a variety of things. So this is my 6th season. My first was 2018. So I got to be there for 20 and 21, which was super fun. They've become a little more lenient with what we're allowed to spend it on, which has been very helpful. So I was able to upgrade our maps in the visitor center, which if you haven't seen them, they're really great. They're super colorful and very easy to read. The last purchase was 4 new rocking chairs, which if you've been up there, we have now 8 rocking chairs on the porch and people love them. They're in them every single day. There are people up there. I'll keep them out through mid-October as long as it's nice. And I'll go up, and see people sitting out there reading the newspaper, drinking coffee, which we love, right? All that money spent on that porch. You want people to use it. And people love it. So I did pull some quick stats this morning. And based on our TAB survey, which is our digital guest book, we've had visitors from every state but 10. So pretty happy with that. And from places like Switzerland and Italy and Belgium and Israel, the Philippines, Poland, Australia, Japan. So we're starting to see those countries once again, which is very exciting for us. We love meeting people, and obviously all over Canada, as far as Edmonton. So we're happy to see those numbers again. We're about at 6,000 visitors so far for the season. So very excited. And I have 32 volunteers this year, which is incredible. It's the most I've ever had.
And I just want to point out to the council what great work Carol does and her volunteers and her assistant. So we're very lucky to have them. They're oftentimes the face of Gloucester. So hopefully you'll accept this grant and she'll continue to do her good work. But that's all from us for now.
Councilor Gross, any questions?
No, great work, great job up there, Carol. Really appreciative of what you guys do up there. You are really the ambassadors, for a lot of people, and it's wonderful. That you keep that place, running as well as you do, and thank you.
Thank you.
Carol, do you need a supply of Cape Pond Ice brochures, or are you fully stocked on those?
I think I could use some. We were getting pretty low. So yeah, happy to have more.
If there's no other discussion, I'll go ahead and read the motion for our consideration, which is to move that we recommend the city council accept under Mass General Law 4453A, a federal grant from the National Park Service passed through the Essex National Heritage Commission, the 2023 Essex Heritage Visitor Center grant for a total of $2,500 for the purpose of supporting activities of the city's Visitor Welcome Center at Stage Fort Park. The grant period is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and there is no local match for this grant, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote. Councilor Gross?
Yes.
Councilor Memhard, yes. Councilor Wardley?
I think I need to
A
abstain.
little late. Yeah,
Yes.
it's all right. Thank you. So 2 in favor,
That's what I'm saying.
1 just in the door. 2 in favor, 1 present.
Thank
Yeah. Thank you, Sal, and thank you very much, Carol. It's nice to hear that the season's not over up there for you.
It's not at all. We expect more European travelers coming soon. They always like the fall. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, counselors. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Councilmember Hart, as a reminder, you don't need to do roll call. You can do yea or nay.
Okay, sounds good. So shall we go back up to the top of the agenda that's posted? So there are 2 items for information only. The first is a memorandum from the city clerk regarding the Ocean Islands petition for repair of private ways pursuant to GCO section 2180 through 2186, or a betterment paving petition. And the second is similarly a memorandum from the city clerk regarding Blueberry Lane petition for repair of private ways pursuant to CGO 2180 through 2186. And is there any comment about these 2? Are they going to be continued to a later date in October?
Yeah, so they should be coming back before you at your next meeting. There'll
Yeah,
be-
next meeting.
There'll be
And
a
then the public
mayor's
hearing is gonna be-
report that goes to the council on next Tuesday.
Yeah. The public hearing is on September 26th.
September 26th.
Yeah, so there wasn't enough information for us to vote on it tonight, but it'll be before us, before it goes to public hearing, but they are gonna advertise public hearing to move these forward.
Excellent.
I could,
Yes.
is there anybody on the Zoom call that's here for these 2 suites? I did get a call from Councilor Nolan.
Yeah.
You probably did too, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah, she's probably got scared away by the concert.
Maybe, simply, I was at his board meeting for the Ocean Highlands Ave petition. I was really impressed with Sean, and they were coming together for that. And according to Sean, there's a little holdup with it not being in the report today or something like that, but he seemed to believe that this doesn't affect the schedule for getting work done for the season's right, so obviously we need to be nimble when that does come before us, I'm guessing, but
Well, the public hearing would have been the same date, no matter what. Yeah, before us tonight or not, public hearing would have been on the same date, so that's the
Which is
real.
September 26th.
Yeah, that's the real trigger, so.
Great,
So if we talk about tonight, then we have to talk about it again next time.
I get it.
thank you. The next item would be item 3, a memorandum from the Public Works Director regarding a request to pay fiscal year 2023 National Grid invoices with fiscal year 2024 funds. For John or Kenny or?
Yeah, so I guess I can just handle it. I mean, again, we have a situation where we don't get bills from National Grid until late July. They're due in August for usage that is mainly in June, but stretches over to July. We also, in this case, received fairly significant invoices from the grid on one particular account for January, February, March, April, May, and June. Didn't get those until late July, and they're due in in August, so kind of interesting how the grid does it. But this is something that's fairly typical.
They won't let me pay my power bill that way.
No, and I don't know why it's so confusing dealing with them, but, you know, we see this on a fairly regular basis. I mean, there was, you know, a period a couple of years ago, when we transitioned on the streetlights, and we didn't get bills, you know, for the wires. Anyway, this happens. And then again, it's just the timing of when we receive the bills.
And so, yeah.
Yep.
So any councilor questions? Go ahead and read the,
Actually, if I may, one
yes,
question.
please.
Does this mean that in January through June, we're paying July through December bills? Are they just 6 months off or are
It
they?
just
Well,
depends on
unless
when
there was
they,
just a few,
just depends on when they come in. You know, and again, I'm not sure what triggers this at the grid. But something, you know, somebody must discover someplace that, oh, we have not built. And in cases like this, you know, if they don't build a pump station and the pump station's, you know, working, you know, particularly in the winter.
probably the water tower.
Yeah,
On call.
so, you know, they're gonna be fairly significant.
Does it mess up our budget internally in terms of like what we didn't spend in most months?
No, I
got
mean,
carried over?
we could have, you know, an issue, but, again, you know, the cost of the juice moves around too. So, you know, this year, because of supply chain issues, actually, the cost of the electricity itself was fairly high. Now, that doesn't really affect us because we're in a power purchase agreement and locked in the rate. But where we saw the impact of that was the grid paying us for the electricity we produce with the wind turbines. And that kilowatt per hour rate was up significantly. So actually, we had a pretty good year.
I'm gonna go ahead and move the budget and finance recommended to City Council in accordance with Mass General Law 4464. Approve payment of prior year invoices from National Grid to the electrical services to various city buildings and streets for the purpose of paying the following listed invoices to be paid for fiscal year 2024 General Fund, DPW, and Dorothy Talbot Rank Enterprise Fund budgeted funds for a total of $97,829.44. And I'm not going to list the 2 pages of specific accounts, but again, the total is $97,829.44. And I so moved.
Second.
And motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes on a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed. And may they be on time. Okay, it looks like our next item would be,
Very similar.
yeah.
Very simple.
The next 2 items.
One is, okay, I'm gonna go ahead with a move to recommend the City Council in accordance with Mass General Law 4464 approve payment of prior year invoices from the Sprague Operating Resources for the purpose of paying invoice number 171069365 dated July 23 to be paid with fiscal year 2024 General Fund DPW Dorothy Talbot Rank Enterprise Fund budgeted funds for a total of $1,088.90. And I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion on these? Being none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then the next one is item number 4 on our agenda, a memorandum from the Assistant DPW Director regarding request to pay fiscal year 2023 invoice with 2024 funds. And this relates to Pine Ridge Technology. And I will go ahead and read the motion to recommend that the City Council in accordance with Massachusetts General Law 4464 64, approved payment of prior year invoices from Pine Ridge Technology for repair and maintenance performed on the city's streetlights. The period June 2023, the purpose of paying invoice as numbered 18429 -0627 dated June 29th, 2023. This is to be paid with fiscal year 2024 general fund DPW budgeted funds. The total here is $16,434.07, and I so move.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? A lot of housekeeping. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes on a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed. We dealt with the National Heritage Commission grant for the Center. So the next item on our agenda would be number 6. It's a memorandum from Elise Sinagra, our Director of Elder Services, requesting our acceptance of donations in the total amount of $325. We motion to recommend the City Council accept various cash donations in the Mass General Law 4453A to support the Council on Aging in the amount of $325 from the following members within our community, and those are Dolores Mack, Peter Tarbox, Marilyn Grant, Jerry Favaloro, Juanita Guerin, Christopher Newbert, and James Niles, again for a total of $325, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? And keep up the good work at the senior center.
Yes.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes on a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed. And we're back into Kenny's fair hands for our expenditures having in excess of our authorizations in our auditor's report.
Yep.
Kenny,
Thank you. So we report this this time around. There's 5 new additional accounts. So last time it was 30, now it's 35. But similar, they're all salary, payroll related type of accounts that are deficit. And as we mentioned last time, it's all related to the union contract settlements, patrolman, ASME-A, which there's a lot of DPW type of employees, and also GMAA, which is the middle managers. So it's more of the same. I know last time we also talked about there was some retro that was included in 24, but we've since made the adjustment. We've moved those payroll or salary expenses charges into 23. So everything you see here, this is all related to 24. So
lots of line items, most all of them at this point in the year, salary related.
correct.
Workers' comp.
Budget, finance, correct?
Any questions from councilors? Councilor Worthley.
Thank you. At some point last month, you said for every one of these in the overage, we have, a much larger number than the opposite of that. Is that a hard report to generate? If it is, I'm not gonna ask, but I'd be very interested. We have, I guess, $4.8 million in free cash last year. I just from a sense of feeling if we're going the right direction or not, it'd be good to see that. Doesn't need to be every week, doesn't need to be every month. Is that?
I mean, I would say if that's something you're, I would run the whole thing,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of pages, Yeah. It's a lot, and it's a lot to, it's essentially, it's like running the budget. So that budget book that you received, essentially like running the entire budget book. And
I'm
it's
only
a
asking
lot.
if it's a report you have and you work with all the time, and it's just hit send to us, that's one thing. If it's generating something that's.
Hundreds of pages. I mean, send you the
Yeah,
budget.
I mean, I'd say if it's more of a quicker thing, I would just say it's 100 pages, but the only thing I would say, the numbers continually, they change.
Of course. Just like this.
Yeah, like hourly, yes. Yeah,
And this is so
So-
early in the budget right now, it would be meaningless.
right. I mean, what you see here, this was, obviously the union contract settlement. I mean, this was expected, anticipated, because I even remember when I proposed my budget, I knew this was coming, and I remember, communicating that, to the committee at the time, that I I just didn't know when, but I knew there was going to be an adjustment made at some point. So,
Yeah, so first, I respect the changes daily, hourly, whatever, and I wouldn't ever say if you sent it on October first that meant anything for October second or September 29th and 30th. But I wonder if maybe quarterly, that even if it's worth to generate it, then I'll ask for it. If it's clear, every city council.
Every other line item in the budget is still healthy and or
yeah,
appears in surplus,
Right,
other than these. So you would have to see the entire budget. Because, you know, thousands of line items are, you know, what you're asking for is thousands of line items.
yeah, like the ordinary account, all ordinary capital accounts, there's a hard budget. So when somebody tries to enter in a requisition to pay a vendor, if there isn't enough money, they get a stop, there's like a stop sign. They actually get a box, they need a password to enter it in, and nobody has the password. And if I see they do have the password, I'm gonna change the password. Which I have done before, I just regularly, just to change that. But as you can see, there's no accounts on here under ordinary maintenance, which is vendors or any capital accounts. This is all salaries, this is all contractual. That you see here. Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'll provide whatever the committee is looking for. It's a lot of data, it's a lot of information to process, to see, and it just changes, hourly, by the minute, depending on the day.
I think it's awesome that in June we have this deficit and then you guys pull it together, right? In June 45th, I think you said your deadline
Yeah.
for that.
You say in deficit, you have certain line items that have a deficit, then you take the money from what's there in surplus and so. And that's just.
And just we're very stringent, like on the ordinary stuff that obviously that's not here. It's by line. So when a department, they try to use that line, there's not enough money in that line, then they need to, so what we call an ordinary budget transfer. So it's an internal transfer from one account to the other. And that's when typically John sees that, that they try to. So just so you know that on the purchase order side or on the invoice on the vendor side, it's very stringent. I mean, it's very, it's just, this is the payroll side of it that you're seeing. Again, it's related to contracts. And it's very early in the year. I mean, I still have departments entering in, recs and, requisitions for the year. And some of the expenses are seasonal. They don't just open everything up. I mean, we do see a high volume at the beginning of the year. Like even the school, I'm still seeing, especially at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of, requisitions, but now that school is opening, there's a lot, because I think teachers, they find out what they still need, what their needs are. And then I see a large volume, a large influx of requisitions, to review. And then sometimes, there's grants and so there's still a lot that it's still very early as to what,
Just because
council
I'm not
rules.
criticizing
Yeah.
controls or anything like that, I'm just certainly curious to see how it goes, how it all comes together, but.
So what we could do, and this would be a bit easier and probably more relevant. We can provide you year-to-date budget report each quarter. And we would sort it by department, but all you would then see would be the total for salary, the total for ordinary maintenance, the total for capital. Because within those, we can move, or the department head can move funds around within any salary line. So what we're really looking at is there a deficit in the total salaries for a particular department? Because that would then have to be solved.
I think we've run that before. I think.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times. So,
we've done.
but that's 10 pages max. For the
If you have
general
objection,
fund,
I'm just interested to see it,
no
purpose
and
intended.
it takes 5 minutes to run.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking by department, you probably won't see any deficits.
Yeah.
Because you're collapsing the entire department. Like, so for example, like in my department, yes, I am showing a deficit here, but we haven't been audited yet. So the outside auditors, we're planning for them to come out sometime in November. We probably won't pay the invoice until, the next calendar year. So, if you collapse my account, I'm not in a deficit. But there's still expenses that still need to be incurred. We haven't been audited yet. We haven't closed the books yet. So some of it is timing. So just so you can see, yes, I'm not in the deficit now, but I will be by the end of the fiscal year.
And just to be very clear, as always, there's no, I'll let you know if there's intention, but there's no intention, it's just to have the information, to have knowledge, just to
Yeah.
learn. If that's not too hard to run, I'd love to see it quarterly.
Why don't I send something out to you, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime next week, send it out to three of you, you can take a look.
Yep.
Decide if that's
You know,
useful.
if Council Worley considers it helpful from a overview, that's, you know,
Again,
I
perfectly
don't
fine.
think it's particularly relevant to.
It's not, it's not the
our oversight.
And I might find out real fast, it's
Yeah,
not
so
relevant.
I think we've gone
page
through this
details
exercise
before,
before.
Yep.
I think we've gone through this exercise before. I just didn't know if that was helpful at that, that time. I know we've gone through this exercise before, if I remember.
Not this term, have we?
Yes, I think it was early, I think last year, I think early on, I think we went through the same process. I do remember running a report.
All
Yeah,
right, we'll send one out
Yeah.
next week. You can take a look. If it's useful, then you can have it quarterly, you can have it whenever you want.
I'll let you know if it's not useful too.
That's fine.
Thank you.
So you don't need a lot of extra stuff to chew, but if you want to chew
No,
it.
I
you
don't
can.
need extra stuff, You know, it might be something that's helpful to us. And it might help for the next council for the budget process to say. So,
That's,
maybe probably because you.
no, it's meaningless to me, but that's all right.
It's just a matter of timing.
Maybe, yeah, especially this time of year, it's like everybody's got money.
yeah, no, I mean, this report really
Every
tells you.
department's gonna be flush.
Yeah, I mean, this department kind of tells you where the problem areas are. I mean, that was the whole
Particularly
point of the report.
DPW, where they have so many seasonal things that they're paying for until the spring.
Right.
This department.
The beach revenue is going to be higher now than December, right?
A little bit.
Well,
yeah. So again, you just have to recognize that, there are, any number of items that are seasonal. That are either front loaded or back loaded, so you might look at something and go, hey, we got a lot left. But because we don't spend it until May and June.
Yeah.
Or
You will
like,
not
we
hear
don't
from
have
me.
much left because we spend it all in July and August.
Yeah, like right now, we're flush on snow and ice.
Right.
Just, so that's why don't be too excited because that's gonna change quickly.
You will never hear from me, why don't we take money from this account and put it here, it's not our responsibility anyway, but, I get that there's so many variables we don't even know. There's timing, billing, and. Move to adjourn?
If there are no objections, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.